Hello. I did my activities on self as context and diffusion. I will also attach the activities themselves so that you can see a little bit more what I'm talking about rather than me just trying to explain it verbally. Hopefully, I do well enough explaining it that you don't necessarily need to look at them, but in case you're curious, they will be posted as well. So I did my first activity on self as context because I think it's one of the hardest parts of the complex to understand, and I'd like to see more activities with it to get a better grasp on it. But basically, it was designed to help people see that they are not their thoughts, emotions, or physical sensations. They are the container that holds them. These things are inside of us, but they aren't actually us. So I called this activity cup of context. All you need is a cup and kind of leftover condiments in the fridge. So this can be old hot sauce. I know I have like 4 jars of jelly that I'm never going to get through. If the individual is somebody who's really good about keeping their fridge clean, first off, good for them. Second, they can use like a cup of water or a cup of juice and just either drink it or pour it back after. Um, I, it will have the same general meaning. It's just also a good way to empty out your fridge. Um, so the first step is the individual puts the contents into the cup, and then they just kind of notice what happens to the cup. The condiments don't fuse to it, the cup doesn't change. Basically, the cup is still a cup. Next, they dump it out. This may be happening to dump it into a bag and taking it immediately to the garbage can. That's fine. But again, they just look and see that the cup is still the same. The cup is separate from whatever was inside of it. They could do the activity again, and they could hold those contents again, and nothing would change. After this, they would respond to the questions that I have on the following slide. So the questions just kind of help them relate it back to themselves and get in touch with self as context. So it starts out by asking what the concoction looks like, is it pleasant or unpleasant, and then asks about what happened when they put everything in the cup. The cup didn't change again. And then it asks to imagine that the individual is the cup and the contents are their thoughts, emotions, or physical sensations. And then do those contents change who or what you are? And like the condiments in the cup, hopefully the answer that they come to is no. So my next activity focused on diffusion. And diffusion is just a way to take a step back from thoughts, emotions, and words and see them as they really are. The book gives an example of language for us being like water for fish. It's really hard for us to see language as it really is. And words are just a collection of lines and sounds, and sometimes it's hard to remember that because we give so much meaning to them. So this activity was a little bit more simple. All the participant would need is a pen and paper. The participant would write down a phrase that frequently gives them trouble. I use the example of I'm not good enough. In the next step, the individual would move the words around to make kind of a sentence that doesn't make any sense. So, good not, am, enough, I. In the third step, the individual would move the letters around to make absolute nonsense. So it still has the exact same words, the same letters, the same basic makeup, but it no longer makes sense. The individual then reads the sentence out loud and responds to the question on the next slide. These are the questions I included for the activity. First, what is your original sentence? What is the new sentence? And then the next response would be, how do you feel reading the nonsense sentence? Does it hold the same power over it as it did at the beginning? And the hope in this is no, even though it is made up of the same stuff, it no longer has the same meaning it did before. And then last, if someone were to say this new sentence to you, would you be upset? And then why or why not? Again, same basic idea. Hopefully it's lost its power because it no longer has that meaning that we give to it, even though it's made up of the same letters. Thank you so much for listening, and have a great rest of your day.